notice of this meeting has been provided. Schedule of regular meetings of the Board of Education was adopted at the reorg meeting on January 7th, 2025. Schedule and notice of said meetings have been posted. All the foregoing has been done within the time required by law in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Ms. Coleman, take attendance.
Mr. DeMarco?
Here.
Mrs. Falco?
Here.
Mrs. Love?
Here.
Mrs. Marmion?
Here.
Mr. McMillan?
Here.
Mrs. Rotondo?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Mr. Stotts?
Here.
Mr. Tavy?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, no executive session today, so we're going to move on to our presentations, starting with our Hawk Heroes and Mrs. Bolden.
Every time. Okay, so when I call your name, we're going to line up in a line here, and then I'm going to read something that your teachers wrote about you and hand you your certificate. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Miss Bolden, and I am presenting the Hawk Hero Awards tonight for our December Hawk Heroes, and they were nominated based on being very welcoming students. At OPS, we define welcoming meaning friendly, inclusive, and accepting of others. Students who are welcoming work hard to help everyone feel included. They are positive, friendly, interested in others, and accepting of people of all backgrounds. So let's see, our first Hawk Hero for December, Julia Dagger.
Stay right there.
Our first grade, Scout Becker.
Congratulations.
Second grade, Lily Ryan. I don't think Lily's here tonight. We'll get her in school tomorrow morning. Marky Wederow. Benjamin Sue. Our fourth grader.
Stand right next to Marky. Congratulations.
And last but not least, our fifth grader this year, Catherine Mercer. Okay, I'm going to start down here and read a little something about each student that our teachers wrote to nominate them as welcoming students. So first, Julia Dagger. And this is from Miss Koshi. Julia has the kindest heart and never hesitates to make sure everyone is okay. If a friend is sad, she's always the first to ask what happened and tries to help make it right. Julia makes our classroom bright and cheerful with her smile and laugh. She is positive, loving, and truly accepting of everyone around her. I'm proud to be her teacher, Miss Koshi. Scout Becker. Scout never hesitates to include everyone. She is always inviting new friends to play with her at recess, and if someone is feeling left out, she's the first one to say, "Come play with me." She welcomed our new student with open arms and made sure she always felt welcome. Scout is an extremely kind and caring young lady who demonstrates inclusivity daily. Mrs. G. Marky Wederow. Marky is a welcoming and inclusive classmate who makes everyone feel valued. He goes out of his way to welcome his peers. He encourages teamwork and ensures nobody ever feels left out. His positive presence strengthens our OPS community every day. We are so proud of him. Mrs. Morocco. You can stay up here, Marky. Ben Sui. Ben is a truly welcoming Hawk hero. He consistently offers a warm, friendly smile to classmates who need a partner and is always willing to work with anyone in the room. When a new student joined our school, Ben went out of his way to make him feel included, and his kindness quickly blossomed into a wonderful friendship. Mrs. Guarino. And Catherine. Catherine is a welcoming and inclusive Hawk hero. She spreads positivity to others around her and makes sure that people feel encouraged. Her warm smiles, her hugs, and personalized artwork make people feel special and included. Mrs. Hart. And I'm going to read Lily. She deserves our recognition. We'll get her tomorrow. Lily Ryan is a wonderful example of welcoming in second grade. She comes to school each morning with a smile on her face and says good morning to her classmates and teachers. She always makes sure to include others in games and class discussions. Her positive attitude and the way she cares for others makes our classroom happier. Mrs. McMillan. Congratulations, Lily, if you're watching. Okay, guys, do me a favor. Flip around and let the board see you with those wonderful awards. There you go, pose for a picture. We've taken a lot of those this month. They're posted everywhere. Congratulations once again to our Hawk Heroes for December. Thank you, families, and thank you guys for coming out on this super cold night. Go home and get to bed because I want to see you tomorrow.
Boy, that's really nice. You hang on to that, though. You have to give it to Mom.
Keep it. You gotta put it on the wall.
Yeah.
See if I can get this started.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Bolden. Before everybody runs out, I wanted to, on behalf of the board, honor some of our outgoing board members and thank them for their service. So if we can have Mrs. Rotundo, Mr. Schaefer, and Mr. Stouts stand up.
Picture? Yep, let's get a picture. Let's see, can we move this one back?
I'm hiding behind it. I'll hide my head behind the circle.
Look, it's a trap. That thing, it like, Collins looks like that every single person who calls. I don't think so.
Thank you.
Bill, does yours say more than 2 years of service?
There it is, yeah.
Oh,
It is more than 2.
His was hard to figure out, so I said put
If it's
more
1
than.
year, it's just a piece of paper.
How many you got? Well, that's right.
That's always a dispute.
Wow, look at that.
Are you impressed?
But yeah, it's pretty, yeah, when I get mine, I'm like, that's 51 on it.
That and $5 will get me coffee.
Bus evacuation.
It's just information,
Marty,
just let everybody know.
congratulations, buddy. See you later.
Yep.
All right, we're going to move on to item 4, which is Committee of the Whole. Do we have a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any board topics for Committee of the Whole today? I had a couple updates I wanted to share. First and foremost, we had our community roundtable, our first one as a board last month. It was fantastic. Had 5 community members come out, so it was a nice little group. Our focus for that roundtable was finance, school finance and budgeting. So Mrs. Coleman was in attendance as well to kind of do a Q&A, as well as members of our finance committee, Therese and Kim. I don't know if you want to chime in at all. Really was just such a rewarding evening. Small group, like I said, but really great conversation. Dr. McDowell mentioned this a little bit earlier, but stay tuned for our winter retreat. We'll be looking at some dates for that come January. And I think, and for our returning board members, what I would like to do next month when we do our reorg, since it's such a short meeting, if we could do like a group picture of the board that we can put on the website, that would be nice, so we can put some faces to names, so we can talk about that for January. Any other board topics? Teresa, did you want to talk about the transportation?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention I'm a subscriber to NJ Penn, and I saw a recent article that was posted on social media about transportation, and students from Oaklyn and Woodland, in particular, it was calling out, that they go a great distance to school, and Dr. McDowell was quoted, and I thought it was just interesting. I kind of wanted to hear from you, your take on how you're addressing transportation for our students on the secondary campus at Collingswood.
So thank you. Good evening, everyone. So the topic, we've been organizing our MTSS team to look at a multitude of data points. The middle school and the high school, one of their core key performance indicators is chronic absenteeism and tardiness. And so we started looking, what were some of the contributing factors that were leading to students either not coming to school or students being late, missing a pretty substantial part of the first period throughout the day. And so after they crunched the numbers, they did the cross-analysis of where students were coming from. It was determined that there was a direct correlation between the distance that students travel and the tardiness. And so we identified over 100 students at the high school campus. It does not seem to be the same issue at the middle school. We have a higher percentage of students being driven at middle school, but at the high school level, it disproportionately affected students in Oaklyn as well as students in Woodland who had a much longer commute, and in some cases double to the average student. And so the challenge that we have is that in both Collingswood, Oaklyn, and Woodland, we are all walking districts. State statute determines that students within 2.5 miles of their school, it is walkable. That does not mean that it is equitable or convenient. And so we're currently looking at what are ways that we can address easing that burden for some students. Some of the things that we're looking at are biking initiatives. We're also looking at philanthropic support for the most impacted students. But in the direct immediate, we're looking at an easement starting in January of specific students that are disproportionately affected based on pure distance, grace period, as it relates with being marked tardy, and in many cases, tardiness translating into absences as they begin to accumulate. And so what we don't want is we don't want students to be punished because they just happen to live 2 miles away versus 2 blocks. And so we're currently looking at all of the ways. We're taking direct student feedback. And so the high school has been participating in student focus groups, specifically students that are negatively impacted. And we're trying to see what would be most helpful because we want to make sure that we get it right, and we don't want to recommend solutions that don't help us reduce the problem. In terms of physical transportation, that's a more complicated item. We're working through currently our legal options about what could be considered. Busing, courtesy busing is not part of the consideration, but looking at other transportation alternatives are things that we're currently exploring. Any questions about?
Yeah, just to follow up for a point of clarification, if busing were to be offered for some, busing then has to be offered to all, correct? So that would be...
That is correct.
Financially quite an obstacle.
$5 to $7 million a year.
They're not eligible.
So,
I mean, along those lines, because I've seen the posts and they generated a lot of buzz, as I understand that a topic like this would. But I think back to the beginning of the year, when we were faced with the decision, do we want to cut instructional materials? Do we want to cut our labor force? What do we want to cut? And going into next year, I hope it's a sunnier position in terms of the finances, but if we were to spend this money that we don't have, but if we were to find it between the couch cushions, the next time that comes up, and it's like, what could we cut? Is it then that, and then did we implement it just to cut it? I don't want people to adjust their lifestyle, adjust everything, get used to having this, which I'm sure would be nice, but to me, if we're ever faced with that decision again, like what can we get, where can we trim the fat? That has to be it, right? So I would hate to see it go, I don't know that it would even be feasible, but imagining a world that it even was, I can't see it be sustainable. But that's just, that's just my opinion.
In this financial environment, it's not realistic, it's not feasible, nor is it sustainable. Neighboring districts that at one time, and I'm going to say pre-pandemic, offered courtesy busing, many of those districts have scaled back and removed courtesy busing. Financially, the resources are just not there. In terms of budget and planning, the Oaklyn budget is pretty lean. We have been very good stewards of really tight resources, and so there is no fat to be trimmed. And so I think that it's a complicated issue, and this is not an excuse, but it's been a challenge within our communities for 3 decades, and so it's not a new problem. It is impacting students to a greater degree now than in years past. And so we're just trying to be mindful, and we're looking at all available options to be able to ease that burden that impacts not an inconsequential number of kids. If one child is negatively impacted, we want to pay attention, but when we've got over 100 children that are impacted negatively, that's something that we've really got to, we have to act on. And so we're taking a more aggressive posture this year.
Fred, I hear what you're saying, but the Oakland kids have been walking to Collinswood High School for 99 years, and it just doesn't seem that all of a sudden it's a problem now. Is there anything else in there that's changed that's creating part of the problem as well?
Kids are very different now than they were 99 years ago. And I think at the end of the day, some of the other pieces that we directly see is we see commute is directly related to student participation in after-school activities, including sports, extracurricular, and also during inclement weather days, it increases the likelihood of students not coming to school at all. And so we're not saying that there are any easy answers, but when our students are coming to us asking for us to at least think about providing additional solutions or opportunities to address some of their needs, we've got to pay attention to that.
I'm not a terribly sympathetic ear to this, but it's good because it's my last meeting, so you won't have to listen to this in the future. But as I say, 99 years they've been doing this. There have been athletes from Oakland that have played, or have been athletes from Woodland that have played in Collinswood sports, and now all of a sudden it's a problem.
As a mom, can I jump in here?
Sure.
99 years ago, there was usually not a 2 working parent home, and now that's the majority in this community and communities across the country.
And how does that impact it? There's not a parent to drive them to school.
Some of our kids
That
are also
could be. No?
caregivers to younger siblings. And so when you have 2 parents that are working, as most households do, the demands and the responsibilities specifically of some of our older students is greater. And so they not only have to get themselves to school, but they also have to get younger siblings to school as well. That also has an impact. And so we're looking at this not on just a blanket approach. We're looking on a case-by-case basis based on direct feedback that's coming from our students. And so it is very feasible that, as a student, you've got, a 2.5-mile commute on a day like this is miserable for a young person. And the fact that our kids are getting to school and are asking for us to look at ways to ease some of that burden, I think it's incumbent that we do so. And so the team is working, and we're going to look at all available options to be able to support the specific students that are negatively impacted.
I just have one more question about what I read in the article. And Bill, actually, you were a proponent for this. You had mentioned the safer routes to school, and I recall us talking about how, I'm sure 99 years ago, they didn't have a crossing guard, or they didn't have crosswalks that you were asking for on the White Horse Pike.
They did have.
I'd love to know what the update is on the safer routes plan.
Before you answer that, if I could jump in. So, I've been trying to do a bike bus from Oaklyn with the safer routes. Myself and a few teachers in Collingswood that I know would be more than happy to help plan routes. There's apps like Strava and other apps that bikers use that make heat maps, which shows the safer routes to get places. So I'd be more than happy to help out with that. But back to your question, is there anything going on with the safer routes?
There's no updates at the moment, and so the team is working with the Camden County Transportation Management Association, who leads the Safe Routes to School work, to address this. Yeah.
One point of note as well, as we're rolling into budget season, school districts currently are capped at 2% each budget cycle. The state, as part of state regulations, transportation is not. So that also adds to the burden as well, year by year. So just something, as we're working with the New Jersey Fair Funding Initiative and continuing these conversations, I think that's an important thing to note.
I have one more thing to bring up, if that's okay. Earlier this month, or maybe it was in November, there was a bill that put in a draft for mandate mergers, for merging schools that are under 500 students with other districts within the region. That's been drafted, and it's obviously a draft, so we're a year plus out before we know what's going to happen with it. But maybe it's a conversation that we could start bringing up and talking about throughout the upcoming year. I don't think there's anything really to go over right now about it, but just put it in the back of our head.
All right, any other topics for committee of the whole? All right, hearing none, motion to close committee of the whole.
So moved.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on to routine board business. Item 6.01 is approval of the minutes. Oh, yeah, missed item 5, miscellaneous, future dates. December 23rd will be an early dismissal day for winter break, and schools will be closed up through January 5th. January 6th, for everyone who's returning, will be our board reorganization meeting at 6:30 p.m. And then Martin Luther King Jr. Day is January 19th. Schools will be closed. And that January 6th reorg, that's in addition to our regular monthly board meeting, which that date will be determined once we do reorg. Moving on to routine board business. Do we have a motion to approve our minutes from the November 18th meeting?
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on to item 7 is our first public comment section of the evening. All committee members are reminded to please stand, state your name and address, keep comments to 5 minutes or less. The purpose of this section is to discuss items listed on the agenda. Additional, more general comments can be made in the second public comment portion later on in the meeting. The public's reminded that attempts to resolve all concerns and complaints should first go through appropriate staff members and administrators. Do we have any public comment for tonight on agenda items? Hearing none, we will move on to item 8, the superintendent's report.
Okay, section 8.01 is the enrollment report. November 2024 enrollment number was 273. November 2025 is 271, that is attached. 8.02, 3, and 4 are the safety drill, suspension, and anti-bullying report. And would just like to convey again, congratulations to all of our Hawk heroes for the month of December. We're extremely proud that we have students that continue to show up and be leaders on their campus. And then we would also just like to publicly say thank you to Ms. Rotondo, Mr. Stotts, and Mr. Schaefer for years of public service to the Oaklyn community. Thank you, and you will be missed. And that concludes my report.
Moving on to item 9, Business Administrator Board Secretary report.
Can I ask a question on, to go back to the enrollment figures? 228 this year as opposed to 273 last year?
That was a typo. That's what I've talked to Beth Ann. I went back and looked at the report. It's 271. And so if you refresh your screen, it'll pop up with 271. But on the attached report, it's 271.
Got it.
Okey-doke. 9.01, I have a listing of your November monthly budget transfers. 9.02 is your board secretary treasurer's report and cash reports, so all of your financial statements for the month of November. 9.03 is a listing of the purchase orders that have been warranted, listen to me, that have been issued during the month of December, and 9.04 is a listing of the warrants that will be paid tomorrow morning, pending approval. On the agenda tonight, we do have the audit report, so just want to kind of go over it briefly with you guys. You guys have the synopsis in front of you, but no audit findings for this school year. And as we closed last fiscal year, we're looking at, so going into budget season, we have monies in capital reserve in the amount of $252,463. Maintenance reserve, $100,750. Tuition reserve, $300,000. So we're in good position with our reserves as we start to work on our budget. As we know, we usually, by law, we have to pull down the tuition reserve. Jen is nodding because she's heard me say this before. And we have some leeway with our maintenance reserve. And then we did end last year with some surplus that I can put into next school year of $311,374. So just so you kind of know, no audit findings, and we do have money in surplus that, again, we have the budget as revenue next year towards the budget, so, and we do have monies in reserve, so we're in a decent spot, question mark? I don't know what state aid is going to be, but again, been working on your budget pretty diligently. I know Jen's working on her part, but it's in the software, my software, and it's mostly kind of where we want it right now, pending state aid, so the rush will be obviously in March. But that's your financial update from your audit. Any questions on the audit before I turn it over to Mr. Tebe? All right, and I did, I don't know if it's on the website yet, but I did submit, hopefully in the next 24, 48 hours, that as required by law, that it'll be on the website, the audit report.
All right, moving on to item 10, this is our Finance and Buildings and Grounds Committee. We are currently looking for approval of items 10.01 through 10.12. 10.01 is the approval of budget transfers. 10.02 and 10.03 is the approval of certifications of no over expenditures. Item 10.04 is approval of Secretary Treasurer reports, and 10.05, 10.06 is approval of purchase orders and warrants. Under our new business, 10.07, we have a motion to approve the 24-25 audit report that Mrs. Coleman just mentioned. And then 10.8 to 10.12, we have A handful of facilities approvals. We have the OMASAC 30 and over basketball for the spring, OMASAC 30 and over basketball for the summer, OC Panthers basketball, Oaklyn Soccer Club, and Oaklyn Little League softball. Those two would be for the indoor use of the gym. So we're looking for approval of items 10.01 to 10.12. Do we have a motion? Motion and seconded. Do we have any comments or questions? All right, hearing none, roll call.
Mr. DeMarco?
Yes.
Mrs. Valpel?
Yes.
Mrs. Lev?
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mrs. Rotondo?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Stotts?
Yes.
Mr. Tavy?
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to item 11, Curriculum and Personnel Committee. Mr. Schaefer.
All right, good evening, everyone. Item 11.01, we're looking to approve a field trip to the Cameron Aquarium. I believe that's in March. Item 11.02, we're looking to, for approval for the following placement. For a student teacher for field work, that's going to begin January of 26 through May 8th of 2026. Item 11.03, we're looking for approval of the following substitutes, nurse replacements there that you can see. And item 11.04, we're looking for reimbursement for travel expenses and fees related to professional development. That was going to be from January through February. So we're looking for approval on items 11.01 through 11.04.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, on a roll call.
Mr. DeMarco?
Yes.
Mrs. Valpel?
Yes.
Mrs. Lev?
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mrs. Rotondo?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Stotts?
Yes.
Mr. Tavy?
Yes. Item passes. All right, moving on to item 12, School Community Relations and Policy Committee. Mrs. Marmion.
Good evening. Item 12.01 is the report from the Collingswood Board. Mr. McMillan.
Good evening. I'll try to keep this as short as 5 pages can be. So we started off, this is Monday, November 24th, the public meeting. We started off with an amazing sneak peek of the SpongeBob musical, which just finished up this past weekend. I was able to go see it. My daughter was in the stage crew, and a lot of other students from Oaklyn were in it. It was amazing, and it's crazy what 6th, 7th, and 8th graders can do. It was great. During committee of the whole, there was a lot of discussion about various things, including the next Board of Education roundtable will be the 18th, which is this week, this Friday, I believe. Thursday? Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to stay ahead of that so we don't reschedule our roundtable on the same day that they schedule their roundtable. But the last couple meetings have been shifted a little bit. So Matthew Craig during the committee of the whole gave a shout out to Therese about going and doing a high school walkthrough, and basically saying how the narrative that the community is saying isn't really matching what she saw in the hallways. So she threw that out, which was great. Let's see. What else. There's a lot of other narratives in Collingswood that just seems to be going against what the school's actually doing. So it's hard to read into social media and see what's actually going on. Like for instance, I think somebody said that they're dropping all AP courses, but we're actually offering more AP courses than we ever have. So it's so it's hard to read between the lines. One of the biggest things that we discussed and were put into policy for the first reading, which got passed, was be easy. We're going to go to working sessions, committee of the whole. for, yep, so.
What a brilliant idea.
So there's just been concern with some of the committees about transparency between other committees, so we're pushing to actually do a full working session, which means it's going to be 2 4-hour meetings a month, but we'll see.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the otherwise, there's we had student board representation there talking. That was great. And I think I've kind of boiled it down. There's the elementary world language. One of the teachers is retiring, and there's no qualified candidates, so they're moving to something called Sarah's Spanish School, which is a virtualization. So it's I believe it's an online Spanish class for the time being until we find somebody qualified for teaching. And other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Item 12.02 is the PTA liaison report. Mrs. Rotondo.
Hey, everybody, thank you. So the PTA met on December 2nd here in the library, reviewed the general business that they review in terms of membership numbers, which is at 90 right now, encouraging volunteers to step forward. They're always looking to expand the PTA. The financial review this week coming up, yeah, it's the 16th now. The 23rd is the last day of school before winter session starts or winter break starts, so there will be winter class parties, and the room ambassadors either have or will be. I know some, I've been a recipient of some, have been reaching out to coordinate or look for sign-up geniuses, things like that for the class parties. Ms. Bolden's update included thank yous to the PTA for the Pre-K Family Fun Night. It did receive a lot of good feedback. Participation in the Collingswood Holiday Parade. I think it's been fun to share that the Hawk Heroes recognition at this meeting has been like a nice addition to the meeting, so that was shared with the PTA. Some things that have passed between that meeting and this meeting. December 4th was the holiday parade and the tree lighting. The choir performed, as they always do, right by the police station. There was a picture retake day. We concluded the week of early dismissals. It's everybody's favorite week. Mention of the new gym teacher, and our nurses are looking for some donations in terms of spare clothes. So pants 3T through size 12, socks, new underwear, and that would be incredibly helpful. And then the winter event, which is that the penguin patch? I think that's what we call, is that holiday shop? But it might have been the penguin patch in the past, right? I'm not making that up. It should have been if it wasn't, okay? The students got to come and shop in the library. The Candygram sale wrapped up. And then just some upcoming things like the winter party. And in January, more info to come, looking for a social media and tech parent night, and to get some parents together to talk about general safety in social media, safe practices, how to keep the kids smart and safe about what they choose to do on the internet and social media. The next meeting is January 13th.
Thank you, and I'll just add that I know Ms. Bolden is working with our board and the PTA to start planning for the centennial celebration for the Oaklyn Public School, which will be in 2026. So very excited, more on that. Great, thank you. Item 12.03 is the OMASAC report. Mr. Tavy.
Thank you. Updates from OMASAC. They co-sponsored the Haunted Hayride, which is always a great success. We had 2 successful gym nights over the course of the fall. Over 80 students attended the November gym night, and we had 40 on the December one. A little dip in attendance because it was the same night as the play, but great turnout nonetheless. Mr. Scherer did make a note, there was one minor injury on the 21st. That was handled by the chaperones, one of which happened to be a school nurse, which was good. And of course, the borough insurance information was sent out. That's it for MASAC.
Thank you. Item 12.04 is Oaklyn Education Foundation report. Mr. Schaefer.
No new updates since last month, but probably just worth another shout out, the generous donation that OEF had made in the Thanksgiving season to the Panther Pantry. So thanks again for that generous donation by the OEF, but nothing new for this month.
Thank you. We only have one item for approval. It's item 12.06. It is the 12.05, sorry. It is the second reading of the policy 2422 statutory curricular requirements. So we are seeking approval for item 12.05.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments?
Just a thank you to those who made a lot of the changes to that policy, making sure everything was just relevant for a K-5. So I know it took a little fine tuning, but thank you for all who made those adjustments and have it presentable for us tonight. Appreciate it.
All right, on a roll call.
Mr. DeMarco?
Yes.
Mrs. Foppel?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mrs. Rotundo?
Yes, and I echo Todd, it's that reason that I'm able to vote yes, so I appreciate all the hard work that went into it.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Stotts?
Yes.
Mr. Tavy?
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to item 13, miscellaneous. We have our HIB report. Oh, no, there is none. Gotcha. All right, we can skip that then. Moving on to our second public comment of the evening. This is for any items that folks would want to bring before the board. Please remember to stand, state your name and address, keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. The public is reminded that attempts to resolve all concerns and complaints should first go through the appropriate staff members and/or administrators.
Hello, I'm Stacy Brown Downham, coming from 309 Oaklyn Avenue, and because I love searching things up, while you were talking about the transportation, I love that you're thinking of dealing with that as an equity issue. I wasn't sure if you looked at any tech options like GoKid, which is a carpooling technology that allows schools to limit liability while allowing parents to organize car share. There is a free option that wouldn't cost any money, apparently. This is what I'm getting from my quick research I just was doing here.
Very nice.
But what it would do is allow parents to have a free option that they could use that would allow them to at least arrange rides. There are paid options that allow GPS to track as your kid's going to school. Schools can also purchase, and it looks like there's different rates depending on the size of your school, so that you could still facilitate it but not have the liability of it, apparently. And then I know it looks like Camden School District has partnered with Ride with Via, which apparently is some sort of, it's like they partner with public transportation to provide routes for kids to get to school at a cheaper cost. So I just thought I would suggest those two options as ways to make that work, because I love the idea of kids being able to get to school.
What were the names of the two?
GoKid and Ride with Via.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hello. Lila Andahar, 21 West Holly. I wasn't planning on talking tonight, but something I heard here tonight just made me make a couple notes. So, while there's, and I wrote notes because I forget things. So I just want to touch on the topic of transportation. I know there's a lot of debate going on right now on social media. That's where things seem to be the loudest. And I just think it's really important to remember that Oakland School now only goes up to 5th grade. Not 9th like it used to in the past. We're talking about 10 and 11-year-olds, not 14 and 15-year-olds like it used to be, schlepping backpacks with everything in it, sports bags, giant instruments, because they want to be involved in all of these extracurriculars. They're excited to participate in them, which I think is a good sign for the school district. I love the open dialogue. I respect the open dialogue. I respect people able to voice their opinions on social media. But the argument of we did it 40 years ago and we had no problem, so our kids should be able to, I just don't think it should factor into this conversation. Kids have changed, expectations have changed, schooling has changed, the world has changed. And as a mom of a Collingswood Middle School sixth grader who does sports, who loves his academics, who schleps around a giant, I don't even know what it is. I call it an oboe. He corrects me every time. I can't remember what it's called. I can't imagine him, trekking from West Holly all the way to Collingswood when it's 17 degrees outside. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? But if there are ways to make it easier and safer for our kids, I don't understand why it has to be an argument. So I just want to thank you for being open and listening, and even if we can't do it for financial reasons, at least just being willing to bring it to the table. So, thank you.
All right, and any other public comments? All right, hearing none, we will move on to item 15, adjournment. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes.
That was it. You're free of your service.
I'm sorry?
You're free of your service.